the most deepest rooted money block I see is worthiness and enoughness. Not feeling worthy of creating the life that they want to create, not feeling enough to create the business, to create the offers, to help the people in the way that they want.
Welcome to the Teacher Money Show, the podcast dedicated to helping teachers navigate your unique financial challenges and unlock your financial superpowers. I'm your host, Shaun Morgan, a full-time teacher. That's right, I teach every day just like you, and personal financial coach. And I'm here to help every teacher, whether you're a seasoned teacher looking for fresh insights or a new educator navigating your first paycheck, to have a richer wallet, classroom, and life.
The contents of this podcast are informational in nature and are not legal or tax advice, and neither I nor my guests are engaged in the provision of legal, tax, or any other advice. You should not act upon this information without first seeking appropriate advice from an accountant, financial planner, lawyer, or other professional.
I'm super excited to have Bre Thompson again on the show. She is back, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So for those of you who don't know Bre, you should. You can follow her at Bre Thompson XO on Instagram to get all the wonderful reasons why you should follow her there. But just as a quick overview, she was previously was an elementary school teacher and is now just building a digital financial literacy company and coaching business. She has a podcast at High Vibe AF podcast. So if you want to hear that and hear all about how you can live the high vibe financial literacy life, go ahead and check her out there. Bre, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I'm super excited to have you here. Last time was a lot of fun, and I said I wanted to have you back just because we had so much fun. And here you are. It's going to be great.
Yes, I'm so pumped.
Today, we get to talk about a topic that you really, really love, and I can't wait to learn more about, and that's overcoming money blocks. Can you tell us what that means and how you came to be passionate about this topic?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Okay. So I love this topic so much because it explains where we are limiting ourselves. So, and especially when it comes to money. So money blocks, the best way I can explain it for someone who's just now learning about money mindset, or I talk a lot and teach a lot about wealth energetics. And that's all about the energy behind our mindset, our inner selves, and how our inner selves actually create our external reality, and in response that creates our money and our financial freedom and the money that we allow in through our business, through our jobs, all the things. Okay. So I feel like this is very new. I just feel like not a lot of people know about this. So please, Shaun, ask any questions that if I'm not making sense, because I get really passionate. And I would love for you to stop me if I'm going too fast or not making sense. Okay, anyways. So money blocks are anything that keeps your bank account, your income, your business revenue limited. And these money blocks are actual things that are in your mindset. And as I teach them, because I do energy healing as well, I have created such a interesting mix of financial literacy and money and wealth energetics and money management. It's this very beautiful, my business is very unique to me, and it's very, as I call my money making genius. And what money blocks are is it limits us from experiencing our full money making potential. So these are things that actually they can come and they have been formed from your past, more than likely from your childhood, because when we grow up, we actually experience and hold on energetically to trauma. And we have experienced trauma through financial situations and money when we were growing up. And what happens is these stay in our auric fields because we are all energy bodies. We are all made of energy. That's the truth. And even I'm really big on quantum physics. So what happens is these money blocks are held in our auric fields, and they keep us heavy, they keep us dense, and they keep us limited. And what that looks like is, you may settle for less. You may settle for not charging your worth in your business. You may not even start your business because you have very low, what is it, like self-esteem. You may overspend. You may spend out of trying to fill this void and you don't know why. And it's because you have this money block in your system that needs to be healed and removed in order for you to hold more financial power. I really hope this is making sense.
Okay, so I do want to
go.
define a few things since
Please.
you're at a
Please.
stopping point. What is an auric field?
Love. Okay. So we're vibrating energy, right? Like if you were to measure us, we are 99.9999% empty space. If you look at us through a higher perspective, even quantumly. So through the eyes of quantum physics, we can see, and there's more like science emerging from this, that you know how matter is measured through Newtonian physics, and that holds a certain weight of matter, which falls under Newtonian physics. There's also pieces of us that is quite literally, like, you can call it thermal energy. We are radiating, like vibrating at a certain frequency. And because we are vibrating, we have energy that's in our quantum field that falls under quantum physics. And because this energy is so much smaller than matter, right? It's like the electrons. So we have basically, our auric field are the electrons that are around our bodies that we can't see with our naked eye, but they are there. And they fall under a different type of science called quantum physics. And this includes, so this also goes into how everything is energy. So the thoughts that we think are energy. Our ideas are energy. Our words actually hold energy, even though they're not solid, it's still energy because everything is energy. So what happens is we hold on to these traumatic experiences that have happened in our past, especially during childhood, even recently, like it could even happen last week. Something happens that we actually create this blockage in our auric system that is not allowing us to hold more light, basically. Oh my gosh, I feel like I'm going on a freaking rabbit hole.
Yeah, so I feel like, if you want to understand everything that Bre is saying, definitely check out her podcast, check out her Instagram page. I want to get it to a point where teachers can understand how they can maybe like apply this in a practical, like immediately today type of thing. So I'm gonna break down in, let's use me for an example. Okay. I mean, classic example, I'm assuming, of something that could cause a mental block or a money block is I grew up during the Great Recession. So like there's that time when money was flowing. My dad was a contractor, so houses were booming. And then that happened and suddenly it wasn't. So we have that traumatic money experience.
Yes.
How does that make it so I am struggling with a money block today?
So because that happened in your past experience, you now have this attachment to the idea that money comes and money goes. Money comes, money goes, money comes, money goes. And what that actually is rooted in is scarcity. So that scarcity energy is what you might be operating from at some points in your or in your entrepreneurial experience, and maybe even, professional experience, that you are rooted in scarcity. And always there's this maybe subconscious block, subconscious belief that money comes and money goes. So you may even experience that in your life. But if you were to heal that experience out of your subconscious, basically, out of your auric field, because everything's energy, right? You would experience business to be more consistent if you weren't before. Or you would you would have a better relationship with money to where you have this deep trust that money always comes, money always comes. It always comes, it always comes. You no longer are rooted in that scarcity of when is it gonna not come? When is it gonna end? Oh, look, there's this big wave of money that came in. When is the shoe gonna drop? It's like this constant pattern that you may not even be realizing that you are operating in, because it's just such a deep part of you, because that is what you experienced in your childhood, and you are more than likely bringing it into your everyday life now,
Okay,
until
so
you heal it.
I want to talk about healing in a second, but I want to
Okay.
shift another direction. So I want us to like kind of do like a parallel thing because I think this will work well.
Okay.
Let's talk about teachers, right?
Mm-hmm.
More generally, maybe. I feel like this is a very personalized thing, but teachers, we have like an identity almost to be a teacher. Are there any ways that money blocks affect teachers almost generally because of being a teacher?
So the number one thing, and this might be really triggering, but I always say to my clients, to myself, to everyone, your triggers are literal gold mines. Where you are feeling triggered is literally where all the breakthroughs happen. So the number one thing I see with teachers and with the money blocks is they have this deep rooted belief / money block that money is bad. Money is evil. Charging for their, like charging their worth, charging for their services in a way, even charging for like TPT, a certain money amount is bad, evil, or wrong. So if there is a teacher who, it's like teachers are like automatically, what I see, always playing on their lower potential in a way. Like they're so genius, they're so smart, like they are so well educated and well-rounded like people, but they fall back because they have this money block of asking for money, receiving money, charging for their services in whatever kind of thing is bad, wrong, or not as it should be. And it's because they have the subconscious belief that money is evil and wrong and bad. And the question really is, money is simply a tool. Money is not evil and bad. It's the label we give it. And that labeling, if it is very limiting, that's a money block. And what I do in my work is I help people shift and move that energy through. And sometimes that's through that's through healing work, like literally going through deep healing. And other times it's just simply being aware and, like creating action that is the opposite of that. So that, for example, it would be like if I have a client and they're coaching and they're undercharging for their services. It's like, okay, why are you undercharging? Where is this coming from? So I see teachers not charging their worth. And I think you can go so deep as to why and why that's so normal. I see it all the time. Like teachers don't even want to charge for their services on TPT. And they think it's like wrong or bad to charge, but it's not. It's a form of exchange. If you really look at it objectively and non-attached, this is the thing too. You don't want to be emotionally attached. You want to look at it objectively and neutrally. If you look at it, it's just a form of exchange, and it's not wrong or bad or greedy. It's the intention behind it. It's that charge. It's that energy charge behind it.
I could not agree more. I mean, I obviously don't have the energy background that you do, so I would say it differently. But this is the hill that I will die on: is that teachers are, like you said, they have this money is evil complex. I'm in it for the outcome, not the income thing, which is one of my least favorite things any teacher says. Because if you were not in it for the income, you wouldn't have to work, but you would choose to work. And I don't know a single teacher who is working as a teacher just because they are volunteering their time to work. They're doing it because they need to pay the bills, right? And that's how it is. Like, yeah, I love this idea of exchange. That's all we're doing. Okay, your life energy is it's like the book Your Money or Your Life. Your life energy is worth a certain amount, and you exchange that for other people's life energy. And the way that we do that exchanging is through money, right? I have put so much life into this, $15 that I'm now exchanging for the amount of life energy you put into a $15 hamburger. That's just how we go about exchanging things. So if you can't have that mindset of just it's flowing and I've put time and energy and effort into this, so I deserve to have the exchange back from that. That's definitely a problem, and I see that in teachers a lot. So that is a huge money block. Are there any other money blocks that teachers might need to be aware of just from the nature of our position?
Yes, I would say this is deep. I do deep stuff, like, and one of the biggest things I see, the most deepest rooted money block I see is worthiness and enoughness. Not feeling worthy of creating the life that they want to create, not feeling enough to create the business, to create the offers, to help the people in the way that they want. It's very deep, and that's why I do healing around it. And it's beautiful and it's wonderful and I love it. It's the best work I've ever done, and that's why I facilitate it. But it really comes down to, I'm also going to say, because this is coming up and I'm just going to share it again, triggering, yes, but it's good. When I was teaching, I really noticed where my ego was coming in. And one of the things that I had to let go of and release and to move away from and evolve from was this idea that me, am the only person in my student's life that can help them, change them, or whatever. What I realized was when I was teaching, I was putting so much like pressure on myself to help every single kid in the most perfect way possible. It was like this perfectionism. So perfectionism is one, and people pleasing, of course. So that actually like drains you. Okay, energy leak all over the place. Every time you people please, every time you don't set strong boundaries on your contract time, or you don't want to say what it is that you want to say, you're totally leaking. But another thing was that my ego was getting in the way of me not almost, and again, I left the classroom. So something that was keeping me in was believing that I was the only person that could save these kids, or, save, right? Like this. It's hard because, again, I was like draining all of my energy into my classroom and I was depleted. I didn't have energy for my family. I didn't have energy for my husband, and it was not good. And I had to do an ego check, honestly. Like, I have more faith. I had to develop more faith and trust in the education system than I was giving credit for. And it actually helped alleviate a lot of stress, and just being more optimistic about the education system could be helpful too. But hopefully that answered your question. So the money block, going back to your question, the money block I see a lot with teachers is just overextending in areas that are like, it's not 1000% your job. And like, let's be honest, like you are here to teach and like to do what you can, but let's not be perfectionist about it. And like, let's not people please and like bend over backwards and have no energy for ourselves and for our families.
I
That's
love that.
like, it's not good.
So we're saying money block, but based on
Mhm.
our conversation, I think that energy block is probably a
Yeah.
good term for you. And I think that
Yes.
also applies really well because you talked about time, right? And we talked about how money is an exchange, and it's exchanging time really. So money is really time. Like time is money is a very true statement. And when we're talking about, the time block or the energy block or the money block, whatever you want to call it, when you are trying to overextend yourself, that leads to burnout. Right.
Mhm.
Burnout is, like you said, that leaking of your energy, just it's all going into teaching, you don't have anything left. That leads to that burnout that we really want to avoid. I want to help as many teachers as possible stay in the classroom if they want to stay in the classroom. So avoiding burnout is huge on that. And it comes
Mhm.
to how you use your time. You need to have that time, not having that block where you're like, I have to give more. Like, I think that we've all felt that if I don't do this, if I don't grade all of these papers and take it all home and spend my entire evening grading these papers, what will become of the children? Right? Oh, the children. Oh
Mhm.
no. Okay.
Mhm.
First of all, there's got to be a better way to do that. But second of all, they'll be fine. Okay. The kids
Yes.
will be
Like, let's
fine.
have more faith. Like, let's have more, like, let's have more optimism and faith that everything is gonna be perfect and as it should be. And, like I have faith and belief that every student I have interacted with is exactly where they're supposed to be for them and their development as their own individual people. And one more thing, like money, I view money as energy. Like everything's energy. So money is literally the exchange of my energy to your energy to the whatever's energy. So it's literally an energetic exchange. Everything is, even conversation, talking, being here on the podcast, like everything's an energetic exchange.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so we've talked about my specific money block potentially.
Mhm.
We talked about some teacher money blocks. So now let's talk about what do you like? So we've maybe recognized we have a money block. We recognize we have at
Mhm.
least a traumatic experience maybe with money, but not maybe we have. Everyone's had some sort of,
Mhm.
you might not think of it as trauma, but we've had some sort of thing that has influenced the way we think about money. So
Mhm.
what can we start to do to start overcoming that? What are some healing things, and maybe some simple practical steps people can do to start trying to heal those money blocks? Maybe you
Okay.
can start with my example if you'd like, and then move on to the general ones, or however you'd like to do that. If you are enjoying the Teacher Money Show, please share it with a teacher friend that you know. I really appreciate it.
Yes, I love it. So first thing that's coming up that I need to share or want to share is, I know I use the word trauma, but let's not label trauma as good or bad. Like, let's seriously start to view things as neutral, because that's literally what it is. Trauma's not good or bad. Trauma's just a thing that has happened that has conditioned our minds in a certain way that is limiting us. That's how I view it. So the first thing I would say to help support someone in starting to shift their energy is, first, I would want, or, releasing these money blocks is, first, I want them to be radically honest with what it is that they want in their life. Radically honest. As in, I mean, they could write this down, they could say it out loud, whatever. This is what I specialize in, truly. Like, they can come on a call with me because I give the space, and I want them to experience the space to actually let out what it is that they want to create in their lives. I saw it with students where they were limiting themselves in middle school, upper elementary school, as in what kind of job they could have, what kind of career they can create. And it always ties with money, right? Like, oh, I want to be an engineer because of X amount, right? Or I used to hear this, I don't want to be a teacher because they don't make enough. Those are all like limitations that, where did we get that from? We got that from society. Okay. We weren't born with that. So I would say the first thing in healing your money block is being radically honest with what it is that you want to create in your life. And two, let's have the conversation, or the journaling's very powerful, of, if you did create the amount of money you wanted to create, what would you actually do with it? And play with that. Expansion. What is it that you would create? Would you create a nonprofit? Would you donate X amount? Like, can you feel and think about all the impact that you can create with the money that you would like to, I say create money because what you're doing is you're creating offers in your business, whatever, that you would spend to help others? Because that's what money is, in my opinion. Money is creating like this opportunity to help people deeply in a way that you can do best. And in exchange, you receive dollar bills, but that's the cherry on top. Because like, what is the most fulfilling is helping someone deeply. So how can you start to really think about helping people rather than thinking, oh, I'm just going to take their money? Like, no. It's an exchange. Shaun, I hope I'm doing a good job answering your question. But another thing I would just say is, start to reflect back on your money story. So your money story is your money story is what you experienced as a child and how you've been conditioned to perceive and view money. So since we were children, I mean, children are conditionable, right? Like, our conscious mind does not fully develop, and our subconscious mind does not fully develop until like 7 years old about. So what memories can you pull up from your past money experiences that you can become aware of? Oh, I'm still operating like that. Like, for me, scarcity with money was huge. Like, there was never enough. So as I grew into adulthood, I was just creating this massive savings account because of fear and lack. I wasn't creating a savings account to invest into anything per se. I was creating a savings account because just in case I lose my job, or because that's what happened to my mom. My mom lost her job and it was like financial havoc, like truly. So I was operating from that mindset: scarcity, lack, something's going to happen, foot's going to drop. Oh my God. Like freak out mode. And it was actually dysregulating my nervous system. Like, it is just not helpful to be operating from these old programming, like mindsets around money, and it affects everything. Like money, literally, your relationship with money, if it's happening in one place, it's more than likely happening in other places in your life. So where can you catch that pattern, and how can you start to think differently about it? Like open your mind up a little bit wider and change that perspective.
Okay, so I have another question for you. So we've
Mm-hmm.
got be radically honest,
Mm-hmm.
writing things down and journaling, identifying
Mm-hmm.
those patterns you have and trying to, shift perspective on them. Those are good. I feel like do you need a coach to help you with these things, or is this something that you can do on your own? Or how could someone approach this starting out?
Awesome. Well, the question would be, I mean, this isn't really a question, but this is a core belief of mine. Like everyone can do everything on their own, right? Like truly, if you ask the right questions and you're interested in finding the answers, you will, and you could do it all yourself. But when you hire like a coach, or you join a program, or you do one-on-one work at any capacity, even if it's group, whatever, when you invest in that type of way, you are investing your time back. So if you want to do this quick, fast, to the point, get it done, and completely change your life, like my life is completely different than it was a year ago. In terms of every single piece of my life is completely different because I do this very deep work. So if you are interested in radically changing your life, like you would invest your time back into that, but you don't necessarily need to. However, it's easier if you, I don't know, buy a book, because you're reacting to something, right? Like you read something and it gives you journal prompts and you're like, ooh, let me dive deeper. Same with a coach. Ooh, I'm going to work with this coach. They are really going to like really bring me out of my comfort zone. I can't really hide away when I invest in a coach. It's like personal training. You go to the personal trainer and they push you with weights and your limits and working out. That's what a coach does. Like they expand you and they give you results quicker. It's like you're exchanging time, like I said. So you could do it on your own, or you can fast track it with coaches and programs.
That's awesome. So, I love this idea. Like you can do anything on your own.
Mm-hmm.
You want to put the time into it. Like you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, you can't give yourself brain surgery. That I don't think you can do that
No.
on your own. But like you could learn how to do a cast for your foot if you broke your leg. But is all that time worth that putting that effort into it, or going to a doctor? You'd go to a doctor
Yeah.
every single time.
Yeah. And even think about like you do coaching services as well. Like think about all the energy you have spent into the subject. Think about all the trainings you have done. Think about all your time that you have done. You can quite literally create this like time capsule for your client so they don't have to do all the runaround that you had to do. You already mastered it. You are an expert at it. So you welcome people in and you give it to them like a time capsule. It's quick, it's fast. It's how you like bend time in a way. It's how you build success quicker. I guarantee you, if you look at all these successful people, I love reading biographies. I love reading those because you can really see that everybody benefits from a mentor. Everyone. That's how you like create the most success in the least amount of time.
Oh, amen to that. I think mentorship is probably the number one thing that is almost lost in our world right now. People they're getting like ideas from a bunch of different places, but not getting mentored from a single source on like from an expert. I think that can really, really just catapult you forward on any journey. Having a mentor is huge in your education, in your professional life, in your finances, in a business, in a relationship. Like there's lots of benefits to having a mentor, and that mentor can be an individual coach. Like you said, a book can be a great place to look for mentorships. But just we're getting stuck not having those, and I think that's really important. Well, we've talked about none of the things that I was going to ask you, but it's been a really great conversation. I'm loving this.
I love it too.
Is there anything, because I'm not an expert in this money block topic, that you think would be really important for teachers to hear about?
Oh, just be open. Be open. Like the number one thing I could tell everyone is question the beliefs you believe in. Question it. Where did it come from? Is it true? Is that really, really it? I have learned that the more black and white something is, the more less true it is. Humans, people, life, society is so multi-dimensional, truly. Like there's so many layers to us. We are just literal like energy bodies, like all around. That's literally what we are. And also like don't take things so serious. And if you do begin to say that's wrong, that's bad, question it. Why? Who said? Where did that come from? Is that coming from you? Like you, your heart? Your heart. Is it coming from your heart? Or is it coming from what someone told you to believe, which is like more ego? That I would say is the number one thing, especially when it comes to your success and what you want to create for your life. Because my core belief is anyone can be, do, and have anything that it is that they desire to create from their heart, and heart space, like heart space goals and heart space desire, as in heart space, like from your heart, is always for the betterment of all. And actually, if you decide to create more money, understand that you are actually creating more money, not only for yourself, but for everyone, because healing starts with you. And if you really want to change the world and, change the way the world is operating in and do all those things that, we preach all the time, right? You have to change yourself. And that all starts with your perspective. And where are you limiting yourself? Where are you limiting other people? Where are you labeling things as bad or wrong? And just questioning it. And always question, am I doing this in love? That's what I would say. Because
Awesome.
money is connected to love, in my opinion.
That's great. I thought you were going to start singing a Michael Jackson song there for a second.
Really? Which one?
No, I'm starting with The Man in the Mirror.
Oh my gosh. Maybe I'll listen to that. I know I've heard it, but I'll listen to it.
If you want to make the world a better place, take a look at yourself and make the change. It's a good one. Okay.
It's true.
It's a wonderful song. Something else that you were talking about that I think is really important is taking the time to reflect on things. Asking questions. That doesn't mean that you have to discard things, right? You can ask a question about something without immediately turning into a skeptic, but knowing where something's coming from, deciding, if that's going to be a priority in your life, take some time, go outside. I recommend outside, take a notebook with you, write down ideas, with your hand, write them down. Those things, it can really just help, the thoughts flow out of you as you are trying to make sense of what you think and what's true and all that. When it comes to your money, it's really important to take the time. I recommend being alone, being outside, and just giving yourself the time away from all of the stuff in the world to really, get a grip on this.
Yeah, truly. Yep. Love it.
Okay. I'm going to ask you my last two questions because everything else is just out the window.
No, it's all good.
It's been great. I've asked you about money blocks and your last little piece, but if maybe you could boil it down, or if you had like one more thing you want to say, what is your number one tip for teachers to have a richer wallet classroom and life?
Mm. I would say be the embodiment of what you say. Be the embodiment of what you believe. And what embodiment actually is you holding that. I'm going to say frequency. That's how I talk. Because everything is frequency. Everything is energy. So I'm going to be honest, the number one thing that just really kind of like turned me off in a way to teaching in per se was we say all these rules and ways of being for the kids, right? Treat others how you want to be treated, like always give people the benefit of the doubt, all these rules, but where's your embodiment in that? Like, where's your representation of that? Because energy speaks louder than words. Like how you can speak to someone and they're lying. You are quite literally reading their energy. That's what you're doing. You can sense that they're not being honest and there's something off. That's you reading energy. So where can you be the embodiment of, this is like my core belief, this is what I believe in, and this is how I'm going to move and interact with others, and how can you be the embodiment of that? Because true wealth is not money. True wealth is not the dollar bills that you can take out of the bank. That's a version of wealth, sure, but true wealth is being healthy mind, body, and soul. Mind, body, and soul. That is true wealth. And in order for you to fully enjoy life, how can you be an embodiment of what it is that you preach? So once you in my opinion, click those into place of, okay, here was a good one. Just an example really quick. I always had a hard time, I guess, when I was in the classroom. It always felt disingenuous to me to teach kids about just college. You know what I mean? It's not that I was being forced to just teach about college, but it's like college readiness, college and career readiness. But there was never any talk about what other careers are there besides college, because I just feel like that's a disservice to the kids, right? So maybe I'm going off a little sidetrack right now because I think I lost my train of thought. But just really being so present in the way that you move and your tone of voice, and where are you being the embodiment of what it is that you are preaching, because that's true wealth. True wealth is being very deeply fulfilled, in every aspect of your life. So if you're not feeling fulfilled somewhere, how can you start to shift, change, and rearrange it?
Yeah, I love it. I think just having those core values of what you stand for, and actually always being true to those. I've recently, in the past 2 years, started a new school, and they have a list of core values that the students and the teachers read every day, and the teachers actually believe them and live them, and talk about them to the students all the time, and we make sure that we're also doing, because we modeling what we teach is one of our things. We actually want to do this, and I can tell that all the teachers have bought into it because it works. Right. When you have those values, that energy, we're all moving forward on that. It's been the most wonderful experience I've had teaching, because I've always hated when yeah, we're doing, this, and they have you recite something, but no one actually cares, right? No one bought in. So that buy-in of what you're supposed to do is huge. And I love what you're saying about, getting your energy, and you can sense energy. You've really cleared something up for me, why I can be sleeping soundly and my son can stand right next to me and I just automatically know he's there.
Yes,
it's right there.
He's in your auric fields, literally, and you sense it, and then you react to it.
Just pops right up. Okay, anyway, that's just a fun connection right there. But yeah, I think it's huge. Just getting your thoughts and your actions and your words all lined up to what you believe, and I think that is absolutely essential, because that's going to move you forward. You're not going to have all those arrows going different ways. They're all going to go the same way, and that applies to your money, to your classroom, to your relationships, everything. Okay, last question. How can teachers get in contact with you if they want to know more about auric fields, or if they just want to talk to you about other fun things.
Love it. So I would say visit my website, highvibeteaching.com, message me on Instagram, Bre Thompson XO, or of course, email me at highvibeteaching@gmail.com. Yes, all three.
Awesome. Thank you so much for coming on the show, Brianna. It's been a lot of fun.
Sean, thank you. Thank you for allowing me to just geek out and like share all these things with you. I'm sure it probably was a little random, but it's all good stuff.
It is a lot of fun, even though it's not how I usually think and talk about it. It was a fun, shift of mindset for me, and it was great hearing your perspective on it. And I've agreed with you. It's just been a lot of fun.
Yay! Thank you so much.
If you'd like to come on the podcast for coaching, to share an expert opinion, or just to talk about a topic you think is relevant, I'd love to talk to you. Just fill out the form at teachermoneyshow.com/guest. I look forward to talking with you.